take it away.
All right, thank you very much once again, Machine, and welcome back to map number 2 here in this set between Team Liquid and Conquest. Conquest managed to steal a map number 1 over on Inferno, but now we head into the map where North Americans have clashed many, many times in the past. It is going to be here on Cash. Mega Man, how are we feeling about this one?
I feel good. Cash is actually one of my favorite maps to watch because it's just such an exciting, explosive map. There's so many different avenues of attack. There's so many different strategies to be dealt with here. And I mean, obviously, you know, in the lower tier gameplay, you typically see a lot of heavy, fast pushes towards the B bomb site, but you've got your vent to be splits, you've got your mid control to be exercised, you've got your mid to squeaky and A main pushes to happen. You know, you've got a lot of different avenues of attack on this map, which makes it such a fantastic map. Shout out to FMP1 and Sal Volcano Garozo for making this map what it was, because this is a fantastic competitive map. I love seeing this.
All right, well, the knife round is going to be getting started now, of course, because it is more of an equal map, at least when it comes to the side advantages. Probably not going to be the most decided thing here to see who takes this map, depending on who ends up taking the knife round. But quite decisively, Liquid. Yeah, Liquid just going to run things over there. So they'll probably just stick to this side again, even though it is a fairly even map. Still a little bit easier for most teams to jump onto the CT side to start things off. So we'll be seeing them stay here. Actually, no, apologies. They're going to switch it up, and they're going to start T side, which does add a little bit of a mix to this matchup.
I like this, though, because now, you know, we see Cloud9 in the past, especially when they were having a lot of success. Cash was one of their very, very dangerous maps that they had in their repertoire. And the biggest part about it was they liked to go terrorist side on it because they got to dictate the pace, you know, throughout the entirety of the match. And that was one of the things that they did so well, because they you know, one of the things they couldn't really rely on was a strong CT side. That was one of the things that they lacked. Same thing for Liquid here. I don't think their CT side is nearly as weak as what we saw Cloud9's in the past, but being able to dictate the pace, being able to go, all right, we can control this match based off of how we play our terrorist side. We're going to take it to them very aggressively in this first half and just choose to go onto the offensive side. I like this call from Liquid.
I'm curious to see, to go off on another topic here for a moment, I'm curious to see how the individual performances from each player on Conquest is going to carry over, because it's been a little bit different on each day so far here in this weekend. So that is going to be something that we'll have to figure out. But it looks like we are going live now, guys, with the match. So let's get into the game and take a look at who is going to be taking control of this first pistol round here in game. So
yeah, actually, we just took a brief look there at the coach for Team Liquid. That is the one and only Green Berets, James, from back in the 1.6 era, legend in his own right. And he's going to be, you know, calling some of the shots here for him as they go on to terrorist side. This is something I actually talked to him beforehand, and he said that Liquid is actually going to be trying a bit of a buddy system, whereas they've switched up their pairings. It's going to be Elige and Fugly to do a lot of work together, as well as Nitro and Hiko working together to open up Adren for a little bit more of a wider spectrum of calling for the Liquid side. So it's going to be curious to see this, because this is their map pick, and I look to see that employed here on Cash.
Most of the players here from Liquid to start off this round are going to be moving in. It's going to be a little bit more of a default setup to move into A after taking some control of middle. We can see Naf, along with mainly Shazam, are going to have to be the ones that stop this mid-control from happening. Fugly will be moving in here in just a moment while the noise is made. Actually, we do see Shazam rotating back over too, but there's a great smoke that comes in from Liquid. It's going to give them a lot of control from A site. And we can see this is the retake strategy too from Conquest. They're actually going to give them basically full control. They still keep a little bit of resistance coming into here, but for the most part, they're not actually going to actively stop them from getting the plan or go for the retake just as of yet until everybody has rotated in and is ready to go. But Hiko again starts us off. Great headshot there. Shuts down Rush over here by the forklift, looking for a response, but they can't find anybody from Liquid as of yet. Finally, Stan starts us off once again, and this retake is going to begin.
And another shot from Nafly, going to be able to find that player at quad. He drops down, spots Hiko, but Hiko actually works his way back around behind him in sight. This is dangerous for him. He's going for it, and he gets the knife. He does get traded by Dash, but that bomb has been ticking, and it's planned for A main. Both the remaining terrorists are over there. Nafly finds one, but at this point, they can't defuse. That's a round on the board for Liquid, and Hiko putting a lot of cha-ching in the bank that round.
Hiko's actually kind of funny because he thinks they're inside the smoke trying to ninja defuse. But
so he's swiping at the smoke?
Yeah, what ironically happens is Conquest actually messed up their smoke initially because they wanted to throw it over the bomb so they could do just that, but it actually gets thrown a little bit too far. It bounces off one of the teammates because they miscommunicated a little bit, so they don't get that smoke setup they want to have. And unfortunately, Hiko kind of walks out in the open. He's like, oh, well, this is a bit awkward. I'm hello guys, but managed to take one down anyway. Sub gets the easy money, and now Liquid are going to get themselves off to a great start. And immediately, everybody but Hiko is going to go for the SMG buy, and they're tearing through these players already. Nitro picking up a first frag on a rush, Elige following that up. Finally, some response from Daps, but it's not going to matter because Hiko again finding an additional trade, shuts down Daps, and leaves just Naf and Stanislaw as the final two on the CT side left alive.
We've seen how deadly Naf can be with this Desert Eagle. It's as Moses and I were casting the one night, the Deagle Blaze. We're going to see whether or not he can decapitate some of these guys with this, because he is so good playing these long-range games, but he's going to get smoked off. There's not really going to be much of a rebuttal from him, but sneaking his way into the bomb site is Stanislaw. He might be able to find some damage, but the nades rain out towards truck side, and they jump over the top. Elimination. Only one player lost that round. It's Elige. The rest of them all stay alive, and they put that money in the bank.
I think that is the second perfect nade we have seen now in this set.
Was that 100 damage?
That was 100 damage.
Ouch.
I'm pretty sure.
I think Naf had 64 health going into that, though. I think it was Stanislaw that was at 100.
All right.
Either way, that was a brutal nade.
Twitch chat will prove us wrong
Yes,
if either
they
of us
will.
are wrong. So I'm sure they'll make fun of us relentlessly. We're the new guys. We're the punching bags.
Go easy, guys. Go easy.
Here. Anyway, Liquid now, again, up to a great start and immediately upgrading for those that had died. Nitro now going to be picking up the AK. For the guys over on Conquest, we can see not too big of a buy for them, but thankfully Stanislaw off to a good start. Does manage to scavenge a Mach 10, but that will be very quickly dropped right back down as Fugly will move in to find the trade on a stand.
Yeah, so the man advantage not on the board right now, but the damage being in the advantage of the terrorist side right now, as they do have Daps down to only 29 points of health, but they did go for some upgraded pistols here, and you know, we've talked about before how they can do some damage with this, but that B bomb site is only into the defense of one player, and that's Daps with that P250, so we'll see if he can do any kind of damage right now. He's going to go ahead and peek out, but nothing doing. Fugly's just going to sweep him under the rug, and that's going to be a man advantage now swapped back over. I keep saying advantage. I don't know why. Take over for me, Blue. I'm losing my mind.
So the big thing here is that, again, from Conquest, we don't really see them getting intel very early as to where this take is going to come in, so Liquid are able to get a pretty quick sweep to get themselves into control of this B site. And the obvious, very large gun advantage they have working for themselves, too, is going to make it pretty simple to just waltz right into that B site and take full control. The final players here from Conquest are going to look for some resistance. Rush is going to be able to pick up at least one kill, but at the end of the day, it's really not going to matter all that much. Again, scavenging a Mach 10, but heading into round number 4, it's really not going to matter anyway because they're going to be buying up. He could choose to keep this and use it on the next round here, which could save them a lot of money, but realistically, they are going to want those rifles to try and recommit to it. And we can see now Rush actually gets aggressive, tries to go for Hiko, but obviously in a long-range battle, Hiko with the rifle definitely going to be winning that one, and that takes down Rush.
Yeah, and the big thing about that is he's just trying to take some guns away from the terrorist side at that point. He's stuck around at the backside of that B-bomb site expecting a CT side push, but really the big thing right now is Liquid. You know, we saw both of the pistol rounds go the way of Conquest in the first map. They were able to execute flawless 3-0s at the end of that one to get up to you know, that's 6 rounds in their favor just based off of winning the pistol rounds. The final score of that first map was 16-12. So that definitely helped them out in a tremendous amount of the way because they actually lost more of the gun rounds. But now it's going to be that mid-aggression and Elige and Fugly going to decimate that incoming push. That's going to be Naflight down and out, as well as his teammate Stanislaw and Nitro. He's not done just yet. It's going to be 3 different players picking up kills, but it's Shazam from Quad going to find that first one, and that actually drops the bomb and the Molotov that was going to get thrown in his presence as well. And the nades rain on out. Nitro with the second one, and it's all down to Daps now, 1 versus 3.
Yeah, Shazam was left alone on that site, and while he does attempt his best to pick up a couple of frags, only able to find one. And now Daps alone will play things very, very carefully. Really won't be looking to do anything too proactive here. The biggest chance he would have of picking up a frag would be if Fugly were to move back through the middle to try and catch him, but it doesn't look like he's going to be doing this. Just sticks nice and safe for the time being instead of A main. And even Daps himself looks like he's just going to be playing things safely inside of Z now to look for a save. So Liquid should be good to keep the majority of their players alive and mounting this good start. They're going to be able to continue it here through that first gun round and by picking things up here as well. And unfortunately for Conquest, just not being able to find that round just as of yet.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate, you know, that there was no other players alive at this avenue for Conquest to take another gun into this next round, because you saw the success that they actually had previously with the two saved rifles moving forward into an anti-eco round. And that right there was a big nade kill, because if Shazam actually, he was kind of burning alive in a Molotov, but if he gets that kill on Hiko, that makes it a 2v2, and that's going to be a lot more difficult for Liquid to manage in the late game of that round. But 4-0, Liquid off and rolling, and this is what I talked about. This is why they chose to go on the terrorist side, is because they get to dictate the pace of this matchup. And you saw that first gun round, they just went guns blazing straight out through mid. The
biggest mistake that I think Team Liquid can make right now is going to be sort of an overconfidence factor, because this has been a problem for them in some matchups in the past, where they start to make some very questionable choices with how aggressively they played, and Conquest are a team where you really don't want to try to do that, because they will certainly punish that one. Even when they're on eco rounds, they can set themselves up for a pretty nasty So basically, they can set themselves up to punish that sort of aggression very, very easily. And if Liquid are going to walk right into that thinking that they have an easy round in their hands, then they're going to be in for a very nasty surprise. And that could throw quite a few rounds by the way of Conquest that they're not expecting.
Now it looks like they're going to be favoring a hit towards the A-bomb. So you can see they were, had a couple of guys over by boost box, but they're not actually going to throw anybody up there. But here's a boost up on top of red box to spot over top of Squeaky. And I kind of like that position because he's able to get early intel and no rebuttal at all. So he's got, took 11 HP off of Hiko, no big deal. But Shazam's there. He finds the first one. The trade comes out. Daps with the M4, finds one on the Nitro, but he gets traded immediately. They've got one more over there, but the frags come raining in. Elysian and Adren shutting it down. And this is going to be a 1v3 for Naf with only a P250. And Adren already knows where he's at. Takes the shot, misses, but again, they've got that information, and they clean him up.
It's so unfortunate what happens with Rush that round, too, because he's a really great setup to really wreak some havoc back over by the forklift position, but when it actually comes his time to open up and fire there, he has two players lined up right in his point of view, manages to miss them completely, and then a really great opportunity to, if nothing else, get some good damage on a team. Liquid, once again, fails, and they will continue to stack up money because of this. The biggest earner right now from Liquid is going to be Fugly, sitting at just over 10K after the buy.
Yeah, and that's pretty massive, going into the 6th round to have over 10K in your bank account already, then the economic damage not really being, put on the board here from Conquest, and a nade being pretty much devoured by Rush. He's down to 68 to start this round, 61 for Nap. The spam through mid's going to find even more damage onto Rush. And again, it's no return really from the CT side. They've got Nitro kind of down to half health, and Alicia's taking a little spam as well, but Naf down to 26 and 44 for Rush. This is just a really tough spot moving into the execution, and Rush gets burned down to 25 now. So two players have taken a tremendous amount of damage here on the Conquest side, and this is going to be really, really difficult for them to hold moving into the late part of this round.
Conquest are very fidgety right now, and I think Liquid could play a little bit of mind games with them if they wanted to based on their current setup, but this is not going to be the case. Liquid actually proceed directly into the A side, and Conquest has accounted this to some degree, but they actually are shifting themselves a little bit closer to B and towards middle to some degree too to watch out for this, whereas the take itself is coming directly out, but Shazam, pure aggression and the double! Lining up Fugly and Elise, finally Hiko taking him down. Nitro picking up a second too, but it's the primer, and they've got a +1 man advantage. Nitro jumping back over Big Red though. He's going to be able to take down Naf, and now we're even back out to a 2 versus 2.
Pushing already up into the site, though. They got to be wary of Daps. He's coming around from the backside, but he doesn't get there in time, and they actually hit another nasty shot. Nitro going off this round, gets 3 of his own, and it's down to Rush with only 25 HP, the same 25 HP that he had 10 seconds in the beginning of this round. He's looking to try to clutch this one out, but these post-plant positions are just so strong here from the Liquid side. That bomb planted in the wide open, and you've got Hiko and A-Main, and you've got Nitro playing from Squeaky. This is a save, and he actually doesn't even get out of the site alive. He goes down, and what was potentially a massive round for Shazam with that triple completely negated by the hands of Nitro.
There's the replay. They line right up for him. There is a good response that finally comes out there from Hiko once again to shut him back down before really any further damage could have been done. But, I mean, imagine if Hiko's actually not playing inside of Squeaky right there. If he's playing from anywhere else, Shazam's probably going to pick up more kills, and the round's is done from that point forward. They don't have any pushing angle to work for on that
had all those smokes as well to deal with. He could have just ninja vanished back to quad and stayed alive for his teammates to rotate in. But that was a huge play from him, and now you see the eco round come out from the CT side, and Nitro's going to make short work of Daps to start this one off. And actually, Nitro's got the off here for the terrorist side, not a Adren.
So this is, again, a fairly common thing for Liquid to do on the T side. It's interesting because you would sort of expect now that they're doing well that Adren would be like, okay, I can pick up the T off a little bit here, but it's not the case. They're throwing it over to Nitro, and this does make sense to a certain degree because he's leading the frag count right now, so him picking up would not be the worst thing in the world. But Liquid started off strong again here in the back B halls, picking up 2 kills right at the beginning, and a third has been found also as well. So it's just swinging it down to Naf and Shazam. We didn't expect too much from them this time. Shazam does manage to sneak through with at least one little frag here to take out Adren, but the last one left alive, Naf, not really going to be able to do anything else. He's just going to be looking for either an exit or something to save going into round number 8.
Well, you actually touched on Nitro being the top fragger here for Liquid, but you've got a string of fraggers that are all together here, Hiko, Fugly, and Nitro. But I believe it was actually Moses at the pregame analysis that was talking about something about Nitro's playground here, already off to 8-2. Kind of proof positive right there.
He's able to have a lot of fun with this map, and he's already showing us that right here. But Hiko's actually going to string together the final kill. So it's as you were mentioning before. It's right now. It's a 3-way tie. It's like a full house.
It's a race.
It's a full house of frags on Team Liquid right now.
8, 4, and 4.
Nitro, Hiko, and Fugly all tied for 8, and then Adren and Elige a little bit lower down, sitting at those 4 frags. Elige didn't get the chance to warm up yesterday, man. Mo was taking his spot, so.
I don't know if you guys on cam can actually see that, but Hiko is mean mugging me so hard right now. He's just staring at me. Okay, he's back in the game. All right, that was intense.
So Liquid continue to lead things here, 7-0 at the moment. And for Conquest, still, again, this is the unfortunate part with Conquest too, and we saw this to a certain degree back over on Inferno, is they're getting so close. I mean, obviously at the end of the day, they win that map, but when they were struggling to get themselves into the game initially, they get so close to winning so many rounds, but because some of the other teammates aren't really performing up to par, they're just not able to close things out. Shazam, he starts off with a great primer, but then where's the follow-up from the rest of his team? We just don't see it. And right now, that player seems to be almost the entire roster. Sam is actually doing the best right now, sitting up at 6 frags. The rest are still really struggling to get anything done. Daps and Naf are tied at 3, and then Stan and Rush only have 2 and 1 kills respectively here. 8 rounds into the game now.
Yeah, and one of the big things, you know, we talked about before was Rush and Stanislaw having a pretty good match on Inferno. This time around, they're really struggling to get anything going. Stanislaw going to be able to get the trade, and there's Rush. Just as soon as I talk about how they're struggling, they come back in and get a couple of frags here, but it's a B bomb site hit. It's a 4-on-3. The bomb yet to be planted, and there you go. A Molotov to the backside of the site. That's not going to connect with any of those terrorists, so it's going to be a 4-on-3 retake. Shazam, only 4 HP, but there it is. Nitro to Liege. Going to go ahead and chime in with 2 of their own, and that's Rush and Stan down. Then Fugly onto Shazam, only 4 HP for him, and now it's down to Naf. Kind of the key player in the Inferno matchup here for the Conquest side, but in a 3 versus 1, not really going to get too much done here. Nitro cleans him up.
Nitro playing from a really great spot to use there. Normally that position is going to be extremely risky because you're just wide out in the open there in that little mini pit, but oh, there's the replay. There's the mean mugging you were talking about.
I'm telling you, man, it was intense. I think he
must have done something.
He devoured part of my soul. I don't know. I feel sullied and unusual.
So the pause is going to be coming in now, and this is, I would say prime time, but honestly, again, we're already basically halfway through this first half, and
this isn't a bad pause though. You know, I mean, you've got the big money bonus here onto the CT side. They're going to opt to save this one, but they're going to take the opportunity now. I mean, they've still got 7 rounds to play with. They could bring this one back. But Liquid, I mean, they've got the money saved up right now. $14,000 on Fugly, and you've got $13,000 on Hiko. They're having a tremendous half so far. And this is kind of what the analyst desk was talking about at the beginning about the importance of good vetoes, maybe leaving Dust 2 in and getting rid of Cash, because Cash, obviously, Liquid wants to play Cash. That's one of their best maps in their entirety of their pool, and they're showcasing it right now, 8-0 off the start of this. And then you've also got Overpass coming up next, if this one actually goes into a 3rd map, if Conquest can't bring this back. And even though Conquest, they're undefeated in North America on that map, Team Liquid has proven themselves against international competition on Overpass. So that one's going to be a very intense matchup as well. But Liquid, if they take this one big on Cash, it's going to be very, very difficult for Conquest to recover from this.
The problem with doing the pause now, though, is that there's so many factors that are going out of the control of Conquest now. As you've mentioned, the economy is built up in a really strong way for most of the members of Team Liquid. They are continuously employing numerous strategies here to shut things down. And it's just going to be very, very hard to figure all of that out and try to make this a swing back here on the CT side. Liquid are bound to pick up quite a few more rounds here before we end the half. And then you have to think about the T side. How are they going to work things back from that point forward? By the way, if anybody is wondering why we are paused at the moment, this is the 2nd time this has happened this tournament now.
It happened to Sapphire once, I believe, in the Observer's booth, and now it's happened to Nitro.
Somebody's broken one of our hand warmers.
He busted it all over his keyboard, I believe.
So we got to get that cleaned up. It's a bit of a mess. So we're going to be on a bit of a pause.
I don't know if this is actually a tactical pause. This might just be a technical pause because of it, but it does give opportunity for Conquest to discuss some things here and figure out what they want to do to actually move in. So they might actually still have their pause left because this might just be a technical pause. But that's kind of humorous. You know, Nitro, he's just fragging so hard right now that he's destroying everything, even hand warmers.
I mean, honestly, again, considering that this is actually a quote-unquote technical pause, more of a stake pause, I guess you could call it there. Liquid, they give the members of Conquest a little bit of a break, but I mean, if there was ever a time for it, I personally would have done it maybe like 1 or 2 rounds ago. So they're doing this just a little bit late now, but this comes into play, and they can use this anyway to hopefully re-strategize themselves. And they also have a couple rounds let this sink in too, because this is going to be an eco. They can make up their minds as to what they want to try and employ here on not this round, but the next round coming up. And then if any changes need to be made, if anybody on the team is a bit unsure, depending on the calling style that the members of Conquest are using, they can figure that out in this round and not necessarily have to worry about the uncertainty of it going into round number 11 instead. Round number 10, apologies, instead.
Yeah, and again, one of the big things, too, is just how is Conquest going to recover from this? Because they're going to have a tremendous terrorist side, because already Liquid has won the half. They're up 8 rounds to 0, so they can potentially do even more damage moving forward. And, you know, this is almost the same situation going into map 2 that they had against Fnatic. Now, granted, Conquest won the first map, but Fnatic in that BO3 that they 2-0'd Conquest, I mean, it was 14-0 on Inferno. 14-0. This time, I mean, the CT side, I mean, you talk about this map, it's pretty much an 8-7. It can go either side. But Conquest getting completely blanked so far, and it's coming off of the back of some massive plays between Fugly and Nitro. They're actually still frag racing each other. They're both 10-2. So, I mean, this is just massive, massive plays from those guys. And Moses obviously holding true to his word that this is Nitro's playground. This is the map that Nitro, they're just going to unleash the beast, release the Kraken, if you will, and he's just going to go decimate the other team all over the map right now. And it's A executions. It was last round. It was the B hold after the post plan. So if this guy continues to frag out, I mean, this is going to be very tough for Conquest.
Yeah, that's just overall the big key to success here for the members of Conquest is going to be shutting down a lot of those big entry fraggers like Nitro, like Fugly, and to some degree like Hiko as well, even though Hiko playing it back a little bit more. He comes into play a little bit in the later rounds, but shutting down the people like Nitro and Fugly is going to be hugely important here, because consistently we've seen, at least in the past 3 or 4 rounds now, it's always been Team Liquid finding the opening gambit, coming out there, picking up that first kill, and then Conquest, they just do not react quickly enough. The communication is becoming an issue for them again, because they're just not able to rotate quickly enough, and we are consistently seeing players locked out of sites just with nothing to do, and they have to go for these hashed retakes, which are never, unfortunately, going to work with the info setup they have going, with the infrastructure, I should say, they have going for themselves right now.
Yeah, so we are going to get live back into this one for you guys as the music comes down and the action heats up. So we're going to get right into this eco round. It is going to be a bit of an investment here from the CT side of Conquest. They've got body armor on 4 out of the 5 players, a 5-7 for Shazam. Well, it was a 5-7, but there it is. Nitro again, continuing his rampage here. He's 12-2. He's going to lead the charge along with Hiko, and he's going to turn around. Can he get a third? He's looking for one over here by fourth. There's the third, pardon me, and Stanislaw going to deny any more damage for right now, but he is going to get mollied out of place, and Liege from mid can clean that one up as well. I was actually
sort of just going to suggest something from Conquest 2, since they're consistently on these ecos. This is another problem that I'm not sure if we've brought up as of yet, their inability to really stabilize the CT economy. Maybe try some aggressive play to, at the very least, try and whittle down the money a little bit from the side of Team Liquid, force some rebuys, because right now things are getting out of control. But the problem when they attempt to do it there is they go onto the A site, post themselves up a little bit, and then maybe 5 seconds later, then they attempt to push 2 players inside of Squeaky, where at that time, Liquid's players, specifically Nitro, he's already posted up in that hallway. So as soon as you open the door, he's like, okay, there's players coming, so let me just headshot them and take them out of the picture.
Yeah, and I mean, he does it well. One of the things, though, that they actually delayed that for was just based off of the fact that, you know, they'd throw a pre-flash and, they missed the boost. And that's big right there, because Nitro, even if they got the boost, Nitro was already up by Squeaky Door. He was going to hear them do the jump boost up on top of the Shroust, as I like to call it, the Shroud boost spot over on top of the boxes there by A main. But they actually failed to jump, which might not actually be a bad thing in this round, because if they would have gotten up there, they would have already known that that player was there. Now they're actually in a position where they don't actually know where that player is anymore. So that could turn out to be a little bit of a benefit for them. But there you go. Finally, Shazam onto a Liege, takes him down. First blood of the round.
And picking up that first shot, but there is going to be more pressure coming back up their highway. They don't actually notice it initially. There is going to be a nice one that comes out from Naf, and Shazam clotheslining Nitro as he attempts to find his way out. But finally, the op-on-op battle starts and concludes in a very fast battle as Adren picks up that pick over on Shazam, takes him down. Members of Conquest are still holding strong, and for Liquid, finally some problems getting themselves onto the A side. Despite having all the time in the world to set things up, they cannot pick up those entries. It falls to Hiko now to do this job. He presses forward. Rush is going to shut him down. Now it's just Adren, and Naf as well will just finish him right off. And finally, after 9 straight rounds of Liquid dominating things, Conquest get a round onto the board.
Yeah, but the big thing here is a round trade in favor of Team Liquid. If they pick up this next gun round, that's going to completely break the bank again of Conquest's side. You can see Rush, he was able to salvage the AK. He doesn't upgrade to head armor because it's kind of unnecessary against the full AK buy. But, you know, again, the problems continue for the Conquest side. They're not getting a whole lot of frags across the board for their team. They're not able to capitalize on these rounds. Sure, they get the round win there, but they lose this one. It might be a save. It might be a force up at this point, but they're still not going to have the full arsenal to go into this next round if they lose it.
Liquid are actually finally using middle a little bit more here now in this round specifically. They do it last round, but it's unfortunately not fully utilized. As soon as they try to push their way into the A side, it doesn't take full control. But this time, it's almost like their main push avenue is going to be in through middle there. Adren actually moves back a little bit and repositions himself inside of A main. And for Hiko too, he's positioned to move himself out through Squeaky. So the smoke's going to push forward. That bomb, though, it's moving over towards the B site, and they are going to attempt to make a push there. So this is an attempt to force an early rotate from Conquest, move their players over there. It's not working, though. Look at Conquest. They're staying steady here on the B site,
So smart
expecting
from
something
Hiko.
to come in, but Hiko again picking up a nice opening frag could potentially change that. Shutting down Shazam. Look at Taps, though. He's staying iron solid here on this B site, just holding this angle. Hasn't doubted it as of yet. And Adren, though, still making a very convincing argument for it. And the entire walls of Conquest, unfortunately, just getting torn down around it. Daps even thinks he's secure here on this B site after he picks up a first kill. This is not the case. Lige is going to come right up onto the platform, shuts him down, and then Nitro casually picking up that final kill on the rush as he just goes for a bit of a hash retake there at the end of it. Liquid just rebalance things. They get themselves right back onto the treadmill here. And unfortunately, in terms of Conquest economy, this is going to be the worst situation they could ask for. They'll force up one more time, but then they're starting from square one all over again.
And I made a comment about Hiko being super smart in that situation. He had the squeaky door open. Now, the last time that they ran that same kind of a strategy where they smoked out that A bomb site, Shazam pushed up behind that smoke and got the double collat kill in the A main area. And this time, Hiko just spams the door. And what do you know? Shazam's there. Instant kill, no trade attempts could possibly even be made there. That's just a beautiful read from Hiko right there, and that shows you, why he's one of the best players in the North American scene, because he's able to just read these situations and go, okay, this is what happened last time. I'm not going to let that happen again.
Af is going to take a bit of a risk this time, putting himself inside of A main, looking for an early push to come out. He actually misses his opportunity too, because I believe it's Nitro that pushes his way out to try and throw a flash. Again, throwing the fake, but this is not going to work. Naf's already here. They've got to detect the play coming towards B, and thankfully they do catch it a little bit earlier this time. 3 players are committed this time instead of just 1 here to defend it, and they're going to push outside of vents, but they're not ready for this one. Stanisol going to try to turn it around. It does not pan out very well at all, and Nitro and Hiko, they'll find a 2-for-1 trade on their way into the site. They still have to deal with Shazam. They haven't looked for him as of yet, and they think they're safe. Shazam lining up that first shot. He's getting an easy one just around the corner. Nitro at only 15 HP, but he's a bit cautious to it, and now he's going to give Adren the time to take his position, but now Rush coming in there too, shuts down Nitro. They keep it even for now, but one player is down, and Rush shuts out by Hiko, takes down Rush, and it's just going to be Naf at a 1 versus 2. The problem again becomes he's shut out of the site, very little utility to get himself back into it, and it's just going to be so hard to find any of those frags that are needed to make this retake even a plausible thing to do.
Yeah, and this crossfire is very strong. Hiko playing outside of B main, and he's not even going to give him the opportunity. 3K on the round for Hiko. He's bringing himself back up into this one, and we'll see just how good he's doing. Yeah, 13-4 for him, 16-5 for Nitro, and that's just, those are big frag marks right now, and that is exactly why it's 11-1 right now, because you see Hiko 13-4, 10-5 for Fugly. I mean, you've got Lige and Adren, they're at the bottom, but they both have 7 kills apiece. I mean, it's just a frag dominant performance here from the Liquid side.
And with Liquid starting off on this T side, making so much momentum progress, Conquest have not been able to pick up really any of it here. Still with only 1 round on the board. As we were mentioning before, they are right back to basically the bottom dollar of their buys. It's nothing coming into this round for them.
Oh, does he spot Shazam?
Save. But I mean, even if he doesn't, these players all have to do such a huge job in this round. Liquid really have nothing to worry about because it is literally nothing being bought by Conquest this time. So these have to be ace shots from Conquest to even hope of a dream of picking up this round. But now that we see the play coming back out here, they're looking for a response. They do take down Rush. Shazam has not been spotted as of yet. And for so far, this is actually an even trade, and now they're going to be able to pick up some of these guns. But then Nitro coming back in, shuts down one of the players on highway, picks up a second one on Naf. And the dream is dead, as Naf, or Daps, apologies, is going to be the last one left alive. Back over here by Truck. And he hasn't really got any guns around him to try and pick up either.
Yeah, this is just Nitro going man mode. I mean, you see the frags going back and forth, Fugly and Lige picking up a couple themselves, but Nitro, he's going to go to battle here, and he's actually losing this battle, and he does lose it in the long run to the silent USP of Daps, but he goes there for the instant headshot decapitation, and we're going to see another round on the board. 12-1 for Team Liquid, and this is just, I mean, in the words of Moses, it's a beatdown.
I mean, like, all things considered, that could have been considered a great round for Conquest because they do that much damage with like, the minimum buy possible. But Liquid have such a huge lead at this point that victories like that aren't really considered victories anymore because Liquid just has so much money, they can just eat that up. Yes, they're going to be lower overall, but we're so late into the half now that that doesn't even matter. So Conquest, they really don't get anything out of their round. They have to start picking up points, and it's going to have to start right now as Rush gets aggressive, moves in, takes down both the Liege and Adren. Nap finding a third kill now, back over here, shuts out Fugly, but Hiko responding, going to be able to pick up 2 more back-to-back. They're trying to swing it back around, but Shazam, he holds his own, shuts out Nitro, but Hiko again, finding another pickup here. He's up to 3, looking for that ace now, but he's alone and the bomb's in the ground, so he's going to have to go on a mission to recover it.
Yeah, and this is a massive play. He spots the player by truck side. Can he get this ace clutch? He's got one player at the backside of A main, just waiting for that push to come back around the backside. But Daps, he's going to get blinded here by this flashbang coming around the side. If he pushes through this smoke, it's going to give Hiko basically a free kill. And he actually comes through. Hiko kind of spazzes out, throws the flash, but now he's switched up his position.
Daps thinks he's still near A main.
Yeah, he could potentially flank him out. Now he's looking the right way at the right time, and Daps is going to be able to finally silence Hiko. But a lot of economic damage being done there by Team Liquid, or AKA that round, Team Hiko.
So Hiko, the only player to pick up kills at time and almost finding that ace, but such a hard situation too, because even if he finds that first kill, more than likely the final remaining player from Conquest, I don't remember exactly who it was at the time,
Stanislaw.
but yeah, Stanislaw sitting inside of A main, and Hiko has literally 0 clue where he is. So great mind game play if he's able to clutch that, but unfortunately the one player from Conquest is able to finish that off on his own. And now they find a second round. Still though, things have gotten way too far to control, and Liquid with 12 rounds on T side, this is enough. Even if we see Conquest here finding a third round, it's not going to matter because Liquid just have a huge advantage at this point.
Yeah, and again, we see that buy-up come out here from the CT side. Conquest, they did win the last round, even though it was, you know, basically by the skin of their teeth. And now they're going for an aggressive B play, and Fugly's going to be able to hear this from his position. He's actually got a teammate with him as well from mid-main, and they're actually going to molly out Shazam, but Shazam's able to see that before that smoke comes out, and now they're getting flanked out from B side, and they're going to find a little bit of damage there onto Fugly as they filter them towards that A bomb site. Now look at the rotation coming in. You've got one at highway, one in sight, 2 coming around all the way from CT spawn to meet up with their comrades in this A bomb site. So it's just going to be a 4-on-4 slobber knocker in A, and Fugly's going to open things up. Shazam down and out, Elige onto Rush, and now the rotation coming back on around. Daps is going to be able to find one onto Elige, but that bomb is going to get planted, and we're going to be on a 3-on-3 post-plant situation.
It's so weird because Conquest had a huge potential to use this just big pinch onto the members of Team Liquid, but right now the only player that's doing it is going to be Stanislaw. And even coming out here now through Squeaky, he doesn't gain a huge advantage. He should be able, no, he doesn't actually even take down Adren. Great reaction from him. He finds a second one with only 11 HP. So Adren doing a fantastic job of holding this one off, and he may have single-handedly just prevented any attempt at a comeback. Daps is going to be the last hope. He picks up this first kill over onto Fugly, moving in now to try and shut out, but he actually, I think he just ran out of ammo. Thankfully, that flash has done its work over onto it. Drenny takes him down, but he's run out of time now, and Hiko.
That's 2 knives for Hiko in the half. And he just comes raining death down from above. The drop-down knife kill, 13-2.
That's just mean.
Insult to injury, man.
That's a way to end it right there. He's like, that was a good try, man, but by the way, I'm going to knife you Batman style on my way down from Big Red.
Just the flying swan pond from the old WWE days.
By the way, what is a slobber knocker?
Slobber knocker?
Yeah, what is...
Look it up in the dictionary, because that's what Team Liquid just did to Conquest that half.
All right.
I mean, they just...
I think I can guess now. So
they basted their turkey.
I won't poke you any further for an answer onto this one, but this is a complete turnaround, of course.
It's a family show, Blue.
From what we saw back over on Inferno, Liquid just with a huge lead here.
I mean,
what hope is there for Conquest to come back on the second half?
What hope is there?
Yeah.
There's none.
Wow.
There's none. Liquid
isn't them any credit.
I mean, you know, the desk is being brutal. I'm going to be brutal too here. There's no chance that Conquest is going to come back from this one. Liquid has got all the momentum. You can see them smiling and laughing. The other side, you see a lot of disappointment and a little bit of frustration on their faces. And unless they can, you know, wipe off that frustration and completely revamp their attitudes moving into the second half, there's just not going to be a chance. And it starts right here in this pistol round. And that's a decent start. A really decent start. All right, Conquest, make me eat my words.
So now finding those first 2 opening frags, Liquid try to get a little bit aggressive there inside of A main, but it doesn't pan out. And Shazam even going to find a 3rd kill here too, playing middle to a good ability, moving in, might have a chance to take down Hiko. He finds it, and not only this, but Rush finding the final frag of the round there, shutting out Adren. That is a quick 5-kill pistol round there coming out from Conquest, and immediately they have a chance, although it's a very small one, to get back into this game.
Yeah, they made me look like an idiot.
Not yet. Not yet.
They got about 13 rounds to win before that actually comes to fruition. But that's at least a decent start for them, and they go straight back to this 3 SMG 2 AK buy that we saw in Inferno when they won the pistol round. Now, this is a team, like we said before, that they carry a lot of momentum after winning pistol rounds, so we'll see whether or not they can capitalize. But look at this lack of investment here on the CT side. They don't want to do anything on this one because it looks like they want to put the AWP in either Nitro or Adren's hands as quickly as they possibly can moving into this CT side. So
quick, very, very fast attempt to take control of the B site here as they're going to be moving into it. Liquid do react to this, though. They see this coming, and the rotation is already well on its way, whereas Conquest, this is a problem for them. They're stunned to some degree. They're looking for that progress. Thankfully, they're going to be able to make it in time, and these rotations, although they are very, very quick from Liquid, will not be arriving in time to really do anything about this, especially with the buy they have going. Shazam right now is just ripping them a new one as he finds 2 frags, taking out both the players from Heaven. Fugly finds at least 1 pickup here, but that is the only player they're going to be able to find in the second round of this second half here.
Yeah, and pretty much a standard anti-eco round. They just do a mid-split, 2-3, drop into that B-bomb site and clean house. Get the bomb plant, and then they force them to come to them. But with no investment, they were just going to go and try to make that at least as much expensive as they possibly can for Conquest moving forward. Unfortunately, they're not able to get any kills out of the round. So Team Liquid, they've still got themselves a 9-round lead. They're going to go into this 3rd round now. It's going to be another full eco. But this time, you know, they picked up actually more of an investment in pistols this time.
So we'll see just what they can do with that. And unfortunately, starting it off, it's not going to be too great as Daps cutting down Adren as he attempts to run his way up to the A site. And this round's over. I mean, yeah. Conquest, they've got full control of the A site. So they take the risk. They go, all right, let's try and set up the trap at B, but the prey go to the other site, so there's not going to be anything to defend there. They ran out of resources, and now it's just picking them off one by one, which so far they're doing a fantastic job of doing so.
But moreover, we're looking at this next round to come out. Daps has actually gotten 3 kills with that MAC-10, so he's going to have a lot of money going into the next round. But I'm really curious to see how Team Liquid is actually going to play on these gun rounds. Rush perched up there on top of the garage door is going to find Hiko and finish off the round. But now we're going to move into this one, and they do have money to go for an alt buy here if they so desire. And we'll see whether or not Adren is actually going to pick that up, or if they go for the full rifle buy. And full rifles is the way that it's going to go. So with them having this and having the mobility of the rifles, I kind of expect to see, you know, maybe a little bit of aggression come out from them. You know, we saw that pop flash very effective in A main on the Conquest side for one of the rounds that they picked up. We saw, you know, how a B push can be very effective, or a heavy mid 3-man stack can be. And this time it looks like it's just going to be a brute force tactic here from the terrorist side of Conquest in towards this A bomb site. And you can actually see, look at this, there's 3 players already geared up here from the CT side to try to quell this push from happening.
This is basically going to go north or south for either of these teams. Now the smoke setup works its way in. Conquest now looking for that progress, and they're going to be able to make it, finding both Fugly and Adren, but they don't account for Nitro sitting back over here. 1 and 2, almost catching the 3rd, but it's going to be Hiko that does this, shuts down Daps. But with Nap looking for a response, it's going to keep things even down to a 2 versus 2. There is a Liege, though, finding Shazam through that smoke, I believe, possibly taking him down. Now it's just going to be Naf looking to hold things off, and still no plant as of yet.
Yeah, and look at this, actually, the buddy system being enacted right now. Hiko is low, so he's going to be playing in the backside of this one. Alicia is going to be leading the push, but they're both coming from the same direction. They're both setting up for a trade here. And if Alicia actually pushes in, they're just going to wait this one out. Alicia actually takes the peek. He doesn't actually wait. He just finds that one and shuts him down, as we do take a look at young Alicia right here. And that's going to be a 14th round now on the board for Team Liquid. And again, that's going to reset things here a little bit for Conquest. They're going to be able to get a buyout from this one. It's going to be comfortable as well, especially with all of that SMG money that they had racked up. And now they've got Shazam on the off.
Interesting side note, just looking at the money here from Conquest right now, there could actually be about $1,000 or more sitting on Naf or Stanislaw, because they basically throw a MAC-10 on the ground in that last round, whereas Stanislaw chose to rebuy a UMP. So this could have lasted them out for a little bit longer, but this could negatively impact them in the long run here. If they end up losing this round, of course, here, and Liquid just get themselves up to match point. So that could prove to be fatal here, but Nitro, once again, will open us up with a great shot on a Nafly, shutting him out of the picture here, and the rest of Conquest going to have to try and make that progress through A main, basically on their lonesome, with Daps maybe looking for some progress in middle, but as the track record shows so far, he may not be able to grab that.
Well, at least they get the trade out here, and they do take down Nitro. They also get Fugly and a Liege as well, so this is a good-looking round from Conquest, but I'm not really sure how Nap didn't manage to get that frag on the Nitro. He was looking all the way over towards this, towards the vent, actually just gets completely annihilated. But look at this! Hiko and Adren just reel it right back in. And this is actually when Liquid was finding a lot of their success. These were the 2 guys that were kind of the clutch masters for the Liquid side. They paired up, and they were able to, you know, get a ton of rounds in their favor. And there's a dink actually onto SCII. He's going to be very, very low. And it's a Dren. He's the 100 HP player.
Oh,
and
he just dinked him
dink.
again through the barrels, so it's going to do a little bit less damage, but he's at 13 HP. Oh, no, SCII. The volley comes out, and then Hiko finishes the job. That's the second time now. It was on the last side before, so Dren did it on the T side, but this is the second time now where we've seen a Dren just be like this absolute champion at holding back over there by quad, and that continues to be his really good spot here. This is that second round that's won basically completely off of his hands and has carried Liquid to victory to some degree.
Yeah, and that's not a round that Conquest should have lost by any stretch of the imagination. Now, granted, they probably weren't ready for another player to be over by quad, but look at what happened to him the round before then with Nitro playing at the NBK wall at the fence. You know, they didn't account for that player. He picks up 2 kills. It ends up flipping the round around, and Liquid pick up that round in the long run. This time it's going to be a Dren playing from the backside of quad, and he picks up 2 kills from that area. Now we see a mixed spy here from the terrorist side, and Rush is actually going to open things up. But again, not accounting for a Liege to be there to support his teammate. Nitro is going to be able to trade out SCII, but finally, Nitro again with an HE grenade is going to be able to take one down, but Nafly around the backside of that bomb site is going to be able to find a Liege. And now you've got that AWP from a Dren trying to find some damage down onto these players that are actually in the site. But the bomb is dropped. It's actually right here at the cross, and this is a really difficult spot for him to be in, but Daps actually decides to push forward and take that fight, and Nitro is going to go down. The last 2 CTs both attacking here from CT spawn, and if they get in here, actually all 3 of the terrorists are, well, 2 of the terrorists are going to be over here, and one's actually in Useless, or AKA the Sunroom, and it's going to be Daps again with the Tech 9.
Daps, if they win this round, Daps wins it for them right here, because this is 2 amazing frags he's found now back over by CT main. Now Dren still looking for a chance to clutch this, but makes his first mistake. They're rolling out, looking for a great shot on the Daps. Not going to be able to find it. He drops down, now hiding in that smoke, but it's fading away, and he's out in the open. So Daps is going to clean things up with a 3K and single-handedly will close out this round for Conquest. Big victory to him. We were talking about how he was a little bit more on the lower side of the performance from Conquest back on Inferno, but he has changed that in loads back over here and is actually top fragging now, tied with SCII here on the second map. Yeah,
17 kills apiece for those guys. Nafly right behind him. Nafly, the one that we kind of talked about being our big player from the Inferno side, 14 kills for him. So this is going to be, again, another match or another map point here for Liquid, but they're going to be on a save. So they've still got 9 rounds to work with as far as closing this one down, and Conquest, it's still a very, very much so an uphill battle for him moving forward into these final couple of opportunities for him to get themselves back into this matchup. Yeah,
you said it perfectly right. I mean, Liquid have no reason to sweat as of yet. They still have so many rounds which they can, you know, basically just hand over to the members of Conquest before they really have to start worrying. Is going to be around that 11 to 12 point margin where Conquest have a really good chance of tying it up and taking it into OT, but until that point, Liquid can take it easy and still play a very, very normal game as they only need just that 1 more round to close things out.
Oh boy.
Conquest still have a very, very long road to go, but Rush will be opening things up here on this round. Naf and Rush again, finding 2 more pickups here. Hiko, still the only player that's been able to consistently find these frags in these lower bot rounds from the side of Liquid. Dren will attempt to pick one up back for mid in the vents against SCII, but not going to be able to find it. Fugly, though, has some luck back up on top of Heaven. He's going to be punished out there. Him and Daps are going to shut down the final 2 kills, and there is another round going onto the board for Conquest.
So we're going to see this. Is this going to be another save? It's probably going to be, yeah. It's going to be another save from Liquid. No reason, like you said, no reason to sweat it right now. They're still 8 rounds up. Going to stockpile that money and move on forward into a very healthy buy into the next round. And who knows what could happen here. You've got a Desert Eagle in the hands of Nitro, lethal, and you've got a couple of 5.7s and a P250, and they do have armor on 2 of the players. And look at this. They actually bought 4 nades. They dropped one over the top of Boost and dropped one down through mid as well. SCII opens things up, and a little bit of nade damage there onto Daps as well to start things off here for the Liquid side.
There's no defense on this A side, and Conquest are going right forward here. The members of Liquid are going to attempt to rotate in now, a little bit late to it, but they're getting pelted, I should say, by nades here. Naf, a little bit of an accidental TK as he takes down Daps, and actually now we are going to see an AK tossed over to these guys because I believe a nade threw that over towards them, as I'm not otherwise sure how they managed to pick that one back up with their current position. So somehow they find an AK for themselves, up to 2 now as well, as there is going to be 1 picked up, but Nitro finding a kill from that CT side, and how the hell are they doing this? What is going wrong? It's all on Stanislaw, and Fugly just outflanks him through the smoke, and that's it, guys. Liquid, they're going to clean up the second map here. It's going to be 16-7 in their favor.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake there. I mean, it's just kind of chaotic, that Liquid retake right there. I mean, they came from all kinds of avenues. Liege was on a very fast flank through Squeaky, ends up picking up 2 kills that round because of it, and they end up closing that one out on a eco round. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous for me to see that, but as ridiculous as it was from my mouth, let's hear from Machine and the rest of the guys over on the analyst desk. Take us away, Alex.
Thanks very much, Mega Man and Blue. Beautiful casting from you guys. Great to have you. Newer faces on that casting desk and bossing it as expected. So I mean, it's a tough one to analyze, that one, boys. I'm just going to kind of throw this to the walls. I think there's a lot to be quite literally torn apart about that one. And I'm really enjoying this, having like access to the comms. Like you do learn so much. That's exactly what you just said, August. You learn so much, and you get a much different vibe from, you know, if you're watching the stream, then you actually realize what's going on in those rounds, how chaotic those rounds can be. It gives you a whole new perspective, and that's what I'm learning, certainly, by being next to the Conquest boys.
My favorite part is I get to sit next to Sean Gares, and basically he's just like, oh yeah, they've just, you know, they're using our strats. That's my strat, that's my strat, that's my strat.
Really?
It's like, okay, Conquest.
The veggie wrap.
The veggie
Yeah,
wrap.
actually,
It was like,
veggie wrap.
oh, that's the veggie wrap.
Yeah, they did like a hybrid of Cloud9 strats right there.
Really?
First
Just
gun round, yeah.
straight
Fast
up.
mid mixed with veggie wrap. Yeah.
There you go.
I just love their
combo.
strat names as well. It's like, yeah, veggie wrap.
You've got a lot of food. You've got a lot of food calls, right? You
I
had.
mean,
Excuse
I
me.
let Jordan make up all the names, so
Yeah, that explains it. So how many like burrito or taco names are there in there? Like,
Is it a lot of Mexican food, or does it mix it up?
well, I can't say the names of half of our strats.
Okay.
You don't want me to.
now
Okay,
we know
well,
why you didn't want to have the comms on stream.
This is a family show.
There we go. It's a family show after all. Let's talk about this game, Jason. For this one, everyone kind of expected, it seemed on the desk, to get this was going to be going into a third map, and so no surprises for but in the way it unfolded, it seemed very much kind of Liquid's game from the get-go.
Yeah, it's just like we said, Elige plays well on this map. Nitro's playground, like those guys, very, very impactful for Liquid throughout that. I mean, it was just a dominant first half. Like, what are you going to do? You just lost your CT side 3-12. Yeah. Like, there's really no coming back from that whatsoever. They just got punished every which way. And even, you know, there were even some rounds where it was kind of interesting because Conquest would get started in some rounds pretty well. They would get the first couple kills, and then everything would just collapse. And so you kind of see how much more comfortable Liquid is on that map versus Inferno. Like, that's why we say it's such a heavily Liquid-sided map, because, you know, they are more confident when they're retaking bomb sites on this map. They are more confident moving around and rotating as a team.
There's a great example of that with Shazam.
Shazam 3K.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he went for that
2v5.
kind of fast, quite aggressive angle on towards A main, and everything was kind of starting to correlate. They were lining up from quite literally. You can see it here. Here's the prime example of it. And he got those 3 opening frags, and then nothing came of it for Conquest. And it's just
this is our
so
second
hard
gun
to
round.
watch. Yeah,
So
watch this fall away.
This is terrible. Nitro and Nico literally just picked them all apart. This shot is insane.
Oh,
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's good stuff.
that is really, that really is.
Yeah,
a pretty beauty.
Nitro, and
Nitro impressed
Hiko,
us.
and Elige had an insane map. They all played fantastic.
And I feel like there is quite literally not much more to say. This is going to be quite a short analysis segment. I mean, August.
Well, no. Do you feel like that's would it have been better for Liquid if Elige had actually? I mean, obviously it would have been better, but I feel like that's the main reason why, you know, Liquid also struggled on Inferno. Is like, where was Elige?
Yeah.
Like, he had a really cold first map, and then now he gets into a map, I suppose, that he's more comfortable in, and you just see what he's capable of between him and Nitro.
Yeah, I think he's in the incorrect position on Inferno, and that's what I was kind of alluding to before the Inferno match started, is their B site's weak because he seems out of place. He doesn't seem like he's comfortable in the B bomb site, but on Cash, he roams around freely on both sides of the map. He's able to find openings, and they use him to his best abilities.
Right, so I mean, where would you, if you're the puppet master, where are we putting Elite? Just somewhere out of B, get the guy somewhere more comfortable?
Yeah, just get him somewhere where he can peek things and be aggressive. I would say like lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of give him a
Or
bit
side
more
mid.
freedom. I mean, then you know where I'm going to take this conversation, because I do feel like Cash is kind of a dead one, is into Overpass, and you were talking quite a lot and quite in depth already about how you think Overpass is maybe should have been that second map pick instead of Cash. What are your expectations coming into this one?
Well, the reason why I thought that Liquid should have picked Overpass is because they could have gotten Cash as a third map regardless. They took a big risk letting Overpass go. Honestly, Conquest should have probably banned Overpass. I definitely favor Liquid heavily in the last map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep pushing you, because you do these, the flick of the switch. Come on. I'm going to keep prodding the bear, the strategic bear. Liquid, you're saying that they're very potent on Overpass, and I want to know. Just give me a little tidbit. Just give me a little nugget of what to expect from Liquid.
Yeah, they have these really fast B hits, these rushes. They have 2 different ones. One where they go heavy out the monster sewer with like 4 guys and 1 guy lurks somewhere. Another one where they split up the sandbag with 2 or 3 guys, and the other 2 or 3 go out the monster tunnel. Both of them are very different as far as the smoke's thrown. And Conquest is going to struggle with that if they don't have really good setups on B. And I know they do actually have really good setups on B. I remember playing them on Overpass, and they play 2 people towards the monster sewer. I call it the Virtus Pro setup, where 1 guy plays to the right side, 1 guy plays like on the wooden wall.
Yeah.
and they kind of bait off each other. That's a very good setup to stop Liquid's hits if they can get to those spots. They probably should know the jump throw smoke from CT spawn, because that'll be very key to stopping these rushes.
Okay, cool stuff. What about you then, Jason? Your thoughts and expectations? I feel like the main problem is that we didn't see too much from Conquest on Cash. So our thoughts and expectations for Overpass is getting very negative towards them.
Well, I mean, also this is the map that we've seen Liquid perform the best against Europeans. I mean, they beat Virtus Pro on it, but that was without snacks. And then before that occurred, they even took Virtus Pro very close on it. I mean, this is a good map for them. One thing that also, what was cool yesterday when Mo was playing is we got to see Liquid with like a really strong opper. Like, because we have like Dren ops, but he's not like that power opper. He's not going to carry you through stretches with the AWP. Overpass is actually a map that plays a little bit to his strengths as an opper, because he can hold angles towards bathroom. He can take his one shot, just fall back, relocate, and just rinse and repeat back and fall all the way back to the A bomb site. So it's actually a map where the op can come into play as well for Liquid.
Okay, cool stuff.
Yeah.
When we, you go.
Oh, yeah, last thing. I think if Conquest wants to win this map, Shazam needs to be dominant in the A bathroom area and being pretty aggressive, getting a pick and falling back. Liquid has an insanely good A default, and they're not going to allow for many picks, so he's going to have to pick and choose his fights and basically get away with one shot.
One thing that's scary though with that is like there's that spot between like long A and bathrooms where like oppers frequently get caught out in. And Shazam, like being that aggressive opper who likes to take peeks, he finds himself in that position a lot. And then it's like, where do you go from here? Like you're cut off from both sides of any kind of retreat. So that's kind of a scary spot to be in. And I would not be surprised if he gets punished there, once or twice throughout that half.
I mean, that is quite commonplace in Overpass. You do usually see someone go quite aggressive. I can see why that would favor Shazam and someone that wants to go for picks. You peek party or anything like that.
Yeah, but if it's not successful and then all of a sudden the hit starts coming in, players push up bathroom. If the terrorists have control of bathroom, all of a sudden you can't get back to the site safely.
So we're going to see maybe instances of Shazam just get locked out, like connector, party, maybe a long push, something like that. Okay. All right, so we've kind of made it clear. We're going to be coming back very quickly. We're going to take a nice and quick break before we bring you our third map in this best of three, our first third map. We've finally done it. We've finally seen the actual reason it's called best of three, and we'll be back nice and soon.